Fanboys!
What is up, guys? This is Alan from Fanboys and giving you another fanboy review. And here is the review of Fallout 4. Yes, the post-apocalypse has never looked this good. And believe me when I say this is one of my most played series of all time. So, I've played this game a lot on the PlayStation 4 and even got the Platinum Trophy for it back when it was first released in 2015. And also, just a quick heads up, I am playing this on the PC and I modded some parts of the game, but I recommend for the first time players to play this game in its vanilla state. Although it wouldn't hurt to have a mod that optimizes the game, like the unofficial patch mod for the game, created by the community. So with all that being said, let's talk about the game. The Fallout series is one of my most favorite FPS RPG of all time, or whatever you want to call it. My love for this series all started from Fallout 3. Yes, I know there were previous great games after this, but I was too young way back then. I still remember watching my brother play Fallout 3 for the first time and thinking it's just another generic shooter game. Oh boy, I was wrong. It all changed after I played it. I was hooked. Well, Fallout 4 is still an excellent role-playing game, but if you really want a good story or a good attention to its lore on how it all came to be, then I highly recommend playing 3 or New Vegas before this game. Heck, you could even go way further to the isometric original games. But saying all that doesn't mean this game isn't a damn good game. I have a love and hate for this game sometimes. I'll talk about the hate about this game later in the video. So, as you can see here, they are using the latest game engine to run the game. The graphics looks beautiful and it's a huge upgrade from the last two games. The character model doesn't look like a dough of a bread anymore, but a little bit too cartoonish. It's not that bad, and it actually has more variety NPC models now. But still, the voice actors for the NPCs are still the same count. Meaning, probably like, I don't know, 10 people voice acted for the NPCs of this game. So in the graphic department, there's nothing really groundbreaking here except for the bugs that doesn't break the ground, but instead it breaks the game. I know, I'm terrible at jokes. Anyways, moving on. So let's talk about the gameplay. Fallout 4 is a huge upgrade to its predecessor in terms of the gameplay. They really nailed it. You could tell they really put a lot of effort into it. More fluidity in the movement, it's more consistent. A huge variety of upgrades for your guns and armors, and they even made a pick and shoot mechanics to really seal the deal for those first-person shooter fans out there. But that's not all. You can still use the gun and armors that you got early from the game and still be viable until the end game. All thanks to the perks and weapon modification / crafting. There's also a huge arsenal of weapons to choose from, like from a pipe pistol to a mini nuke launching cannon called a Fat Man. Well, armors there now has more variety compared to the last two games, since you could equip a certain armor for a part of your body, let's say your left arm for a bandit armor and your right arm for a military-like armor. All I'm trying to say is, they really gave the players this time much more freedom when it comes to the armor of your choice or your weaponry. And to put the cherry on top, they also overhauled the power armor in this game and how it works. So the only thing I didn't like about any of this is they actually removed the durability of the items you use. Well, except for the power armor. The power armor can break. But I wish everything was like the power armor, because for me, that mechanic is what made Fallout a Fallout game, since the game's theme is, can you survive the wasteland? And they removed it. I guess they made some decision to remove some of the survival elements and trade it to having more better combat mechanic. But why the hell can we just have both? I guess Todd Howard would say, is that it just works. Oh yeah, and also don't overlook the melee combat in this game this time. Although I had never built a character that purely built on melee weapons, but all I can say is that the melee combat is also a huge step up from the previous Fallout games. Because in the previous Fallout games, there were really no sense of impact or momentum behind the swings of your melee weapons. But in this game they changed all of that. You could really feel the impact and the damage you dealt every time you swing your weapons to your enemies. They probably borrowed it from Skyrim, and that's a good thing. So there's a lot more of this game that offers you, not just exploring the wasteland, because the game could be repetitive sometimes. From all the fetch quests, exploring and looting dead bodies, you could unwind all of that with their new mechanic added to the series. It's called the base building or the settlement building. Well, the settlement building was kinda surprising to me. While some people didn't like it, because it kinda swayed the momentum of the game for them, but for me, I kinda enjoyed it actually. I mean, it's not a perfect mechanic, but it's a good thing they're trying something new, and it's kinda refreshing to this series. You can make some truly stunning works here, or some minor details, settlements just to suit their needs. But I gotta tell you, they did an awesome job at this one, and I think it does fit for a Fallout game. The only annoying part is that you need a lot of supplies. That's it. But what can you do? It's part of the game. Unless you use mods or cheats. And lastly, here we are about the story. This is where my hate for the game comes in now. Because as I said, if you played some of the previous games, you could really tell the writing on this game is a huge step back from the other two. If you ask me, I think the story and the dialogue in this game is the weakest point of this game. Most especially the dialogue. I think they were aiming for a Mass Effect style dialogue mechanic here. Except, they failed miserably. Well, I'm not saying the story is all bad, I think it's average. And for me, a Fallout game never really sells for an average. And then I guess they paired it with a really bad dialogue mechanic. The dialogues are just so generic. But I do think they made a compromise, since this game now has a fully voiced protagonist, and maybe they don't want to deal with a lot of recorded lines, because I'm telling you, the choices on the dialogues are like yes or no. And that's it. But I guess if this is your first Fallout game, I think you wouldn't notice, or wouldn't mind at all. But for us older players, it's a huge letdown. Don't get me wrong here. There are still the amazing quest lines, and great character development from memorable NPCs and companions, just like the other previous game would have. So you know what? Fallout 4 is one of my most favorite game ever for a good reason. Well, the reason behind it, it's just simple. I'm just really a fanboy of the Fallout series. Sure, it has flaws, but what game doesn't? It's a good game, not just for a Fallout game, but a good game overall. And by that, I'll be giving this game an 8.5. And that's an excellent game. So drop a like if you like the video, and if you disagree on some points, drop a comment down below. And consider subscribing to our channel for more videos like this, and I'll catch you guys under your bed tonight. I mean, I'll catch you later. On your bed. Fanboys.